What's up, what's up? Welcome to the episode that introduces my favorite character in the Buffyverse. I'm Jonathan, this is Sunnydale's Live, and this is School Hard. Now, this episode introduces the one, the only, Spike. William Pratt, William the Bloody Spike. Played by James Marsters. I've actually met him twice, and he is absolutely, positively the nicest person on the planet. I've met a lot of celebrities. A lot of them are very kind, nice, great people. And he is by far, like, neck and neck, the top nicest. Dude is like a saint. He goes out of his way to make everybody feel welcome, make everybody feel appreciated. Like, he's there just to meet you. He's very good at that. Just an angel of a human being. But anyways, let's get into the episode. If you ever get a chance to meet him, you should meet him. Nicest guy. First time I met him, I guess we're just gonna keep talking about this. First time I met him, he had no line. Just walked right up. It was great. The second time I met him, I got my copy of Angel Season 5 signed by him and David Boreanaz. Got a picture of David Boreanaz too. I also have pictures of James Marsters. I'll put them both up on here. You want to see them. But anyways, his line was huge, gigantic. I waited in that line forever. And he deserves it. And it was still worth every moment spent in that line. Great, great man. Go see him, give him money. All right. This episode starts off with Snyder giving Buffy and this girl Shayla lectures about how they are horrible students, horrible people, and that if they don't shape up, one of them is getting expelled. We keep going with this expelled theme throughout this entire, so far, like, we're in episode 3, and this is the third mention of potential expulsion. So he puts them in charge of parent-teacher conference. And it's kind of implied that he wants to talk to their parents about how bad they are. Buffy's walking out, meets up with Willow and Xander, and they start telling her how Sheila is like basically this gangster and you can't fuck with her and teachers are afraid of her. All this stuff. Xander's like, oh, don't worry, everything's gonna be fine. And then Willow and Buffy freak out on Xander, like, why did you jinx it? Why did you jinx it? And he's like, I didn't mean to. And he feels all bad and guilty. Very funny. Very, very funny. We go from that to it's nighttime and a car comes and all the windows are kind of shaded, dark, has stuff over it, and it hits over the Sunnydale sign, welcome to Sunnydale sign, and out walks Spike. And he says home sweet home, which doesn't make sense to me because I don't think he's ever been in Sunnydale before, so why is it home sweet home? But regardless, it's a badass entrance to a badass character who becomes my personal favorite, and I think a lot of people's favorite. He's just such a great character. So back at the warehouse, we see new vampires kind of warehouse factory, what I think is a factory. Back at the factory, we see vampires start to crowd around the Anointed One again. He started amassed a new following. And we find out that in a couple days, there's a special ceremony where vampires get enhanced strength. And they are planning an all-out attack on the Slayer. And this one vampire was like, I was at the crusade, I was at the crucifixion, and this is going to be the greatest event since then. Spike comes in, starts talking shit. It's like, you weren't at the crucifixion. He was like, if the crucifixion had as many people there as you claim, it would have been like Woodstock. I was at Woodstock. And then starts talking about getting high off a hippie. Funny, funny stuff. Kills that vampire, and he's like, I'll take care of your Slayer problem. Drusilla walks in. We start to meet her. We very quickly learn that she has kind of second sight type abilities, and that she's crazy. Completely Looney Tunes crazy. We also find out very quickly that she was sick, that she got sick in Prague, and they came to the Hellmouth to try to help her get better. It's great introductions. I love this episode. This is one of my favorite episodes. Back at Buffy's house, Joyce comes in, tells her that she found out about parent-teacher and that Buffy should have told her. And this is one of the parts where I think my case is made that Joyce is a bad mother. Just hands down, a horrible mother. She just starts telling Buffy, like, we were forced to move to this nowhere town because of how bad at first, like, because you fucked up, and I don't want to be disappointed in you again. You need to do better. Buffy's like, I'm trying. She's like, okay, well, how's the trying affecting your grade? Like, she just, she's so negative and just mean. Like the grades and all that, fine. She's a parent. She wants to make sure her kid's doing good. I respect the hell out of that. But I don't want to be disappointed in you. You've basically ruined my life, and I had to move to this nowhere place because of your like. It's so mean. Like, it's just shitty. Like, there's a better way to handle all of that. I don't think Joyce is a good mother. I don't think she's a good parent. And while on Veronica Mars, Veronica always says the hero is the one who stayed while talking to her dad. But Keith Mars is a good dad. That is how you parent. Go watch Veronica Mars. Look at Keith Mars. That's a good dad. Joyce Summers, no. No, I'm sorry. She's not winning Mother of the Year award. She's a shitty mother. She might be better than Willow and Xander's parents, but she's a shitty mother. The only good parental figure in this show is Giles. I'll stand on that hill. I'll die on that hill. Buffy tries to start studying and take things seriously, but Willow and Xander kind of guilt her into going to the Bronze. So now she's studying at the Bronze. How do you study at a club? What do you think you're going to learn or take away from that studying session? Nothing. No, it's pointless activity. Why are you doing it? But she tries. I mean, you got to give her that. They then distract her again and get her to start dancing. And while she's dancing, we see Spike, and Spike's watching her, and you can already see Spike has the hots for her. He's feeling her. He sends a vampire out back to go eat, and then he lets Buffy overhear him telling people that a girl's getting attacked. And he goes out and watches Buffy fight this guy. There's a funny scene where she tells Xander, go get me a steak, and he runs in, pulls out a yo-yo, and he's like, what the hell's this? Pulls out a tampon, throws it disgusted, and then finally pulls out a steak. And it's like, you just left her tampon and yo-yo on the table? You didn't put it back in her purse. You just left it there. You think Buffy wants to go back inside and find her tampon just sitting on the table? Like, that's going to be embarrassing for her. You couldn't put it back in the purse? And what if someone steals that yo-yo? She's working very hard on learning those yo-yo skills. And now you just left it out of her purse. Xander should be ashamed of himself. Absolutely, positively disgusted with himself. Anyways, Buffy kills the vampire. Spike comes out, applause, introduces himself as Spike, and tells her that he's going to kill her in 2 days. It's always nice, giving someone a warning before you brutally murder them. Oh, God. You gotta love Spike. Spike leaves that alleyway, finds Shayla, and seduces her, and then brings her back to Drew and is like, look, Drew, I'll make nice with the other vampires if you eat. And so Drusilla says, fine. Giles starts looking up who Spike is, can't really find him. Angel shows up, tells him that Spike is an incredibly dangerous vampire who, once he starts something, he doesn't stop until he finishes it. Flirts with Buffy a little bit and then disappears before he can give them any real information on Spike, because of course he does. What, is it going to be helpful? We also get a timeline. Friday is parent-teacher meeting. Saturday is the vampire attack. So everything's coming to a head. She has to get through the next 2 days, and then everything's fine. So the Scoobies get to work on making steaks. Even Cordelia, like Jenny's 100% part of the Scoobies now, and Cordy is Scooby Light. Like she's helping out with, like, sometimes with the research and with the weapon making and all that stuff. She's not really getting involved in the slaying or anything like that, but she's getting more and more involved. She's becoming more and more part of the little group. You gotta love it. Meanwhile, Buffy's making snacks for the parent-teacher conference. She's very, very worried. Today's the day. She goes off to make lemonade. Willow finds her, tries some, and asks her how much sugar she put in it. Buffy says none, and you could tell Willow does not like the sugar. It's horrible. Joyce comes up. Buffy offers her some lemonade, and Willow's behind her like, no. But Buffy then sees Snyder and sends Willow to take Joyce away so that Snyder can't talk to her. You gotta protect yourself, because Snyder's coming in hard. Even though, according to what Snyder said in the beginning, was like, one of you will get punished and one of you will be fine. Whichever one does more for this thing. Buffy did everything. So why is he still trying to tell Joyce? Snyder's just an ugly, ugly, horrible human being. Not the actor. The actor is an amazing, saint-like man. Quark is one of the greatest characters to ever live in the Star Trek universe. And how dare you besmirch this man's name? But Snyder's a jackass. He does. He plays Quark on Deep Space Nine, and he is great. That is one of, like, that's, outside the original series, I still think that's the best Star Trek show. And Quark is one of the best characters. Dude is an incredible actor. Incredible actor. So it's not a slight on him. The character is just very shitty human being. You're meant to dislike him, and he does it very well. Comes up to Buffy. He's like, "That your mother?" Buffy spills a drink on him. He storms off looking for Joyce. And Joyce comes back. Buffy tries to send her home, but Snyder catches up. They go into the office, and Buffy knows she's doomed. It's over. Cordelia tells Buffy that she's going to be in trouble. 10th high school reunion, you'll still be in trouble. Willow's like, "Cordelia, go have some lemonade." It's the second time, like the first episode of the series, where she just casually fucks with Cordelia, and it's brilliant. I love it. It's great. At this point, Cordelia is still very unlikable. The Cordelia that I love, we haven't met yet. But you're starting to see little spots of it, but we're not there yet. The first real spot of it was season 1, where she helps them out. And then in this season already, when she tries to help Buffy in the first episode of the season. But you gotta love Willow getting the little comeuppance. Meanwhile, we cut to Giles finding out that Spike is William the Bloody and that he has killed 2 Slayers in the past. He's actually scared for Buffy. You don't see Giles get scared often, but he is scared in this case. Joyce comes back from her meeting with Snyder, and she's livid. She's like, "Buffy Carr now." Buffy's doomed. And Snyder's all pleased with himself. And he starts shutting off lights. And here's the thing that I don't get. He starts walking around the school shutting off lights because he accomplished his goal. He told Joyce that Buffy is a horrible student. And now he's turning off lights. But there are still parents and students in the school talking and, communicating and whatever. And he's turning lights off in rooms where they're still at. Like, my God, is he Frank Five from the Tell 'Em Steve Dave universe? Like, can you be more subtle with "get the hell out, I'm done with you"? Like, that's so rude. But whatever. Spike and the other vampires jump in, and Spike's like, "What can I say? I'm impatient." And everyone starts running. Buffy, Snyder, Joyce, and a few others go in one room. Xander, Jenny, and Giles lock up in the library. Everyone else just runs. Cordelia and Willow end up in a closet. And Spike and them start killing people. Giles remembers there's a way out to the back of the library, and he sends Xander to go get Angel. Xander doesn't want to leave. He wants to make sure Buffy and Willow are okay first. But Giles points out correctly, like, "Look, if you don't go, everyone's going to die. We need help. Go get Angel." And so Xander reluctantly agrees. Snyder and the other guy who's in the room try to go out the back window. Buffy stops them. They get into it. But Snyder falls in line. Buffy then goes up. Joyce lets her. Snyder starts bickering at Joyce and is like, "I see how your daughter gets it. You're just as bad as she is." Which is why I think Joyce starts to come around on Buffy, because, come on. Snyder's a jackass. The other guy in the room tries to go out the window. After a while, the waiting, other stuff happens we'll get back to. Snyder's like, "I'm the principal. I'm in charge here. I'm going with him." The dude gets pulled out the window. And then Snyder just runs, and Joyce has to block the window back up. Snyder's a coward. But Joyce points out there's something wrong with their faces, and Snyder's very quick to say, "Oh, PCP. They're on PCP. They're on drugs." How would drugs change the way their face looks? But it will come back to this at the end of the episode. Buffy goes up into the roof, like I said, right into the ceiling. Spike is about to kick down the closet door where Willow and Cordy is when he hears Buffy in the ceiling. And so they start trying to stab her through the roof. But Buffy gets past them, gets into the library, tells Giles, look, I'm going to go start fighting the vampires. You and Jenny get my mom out of here. Giles wants to help her, but she's like, no, I need to make sure my mom's okay. And Giles agrees. So Buffy goes back up and she goes to fight. Angel and Xander show up. He uses Xander's bait. He shows up and Spike's like, Angel! Or he calls him Angelus. He's like, Angelus! And so it's like, oh, they know each other. They're about to feed on Xander when Spike hits Angelus and is like, I know you're full of shit. You're different. You've changed. You're my sire, man. Which a lot of people get upset about. Why Spike was sired by Drusilla. Why did he call Angel a sire? But when you see the flashbacks between these two, vampires, I have a theory on vampires in this Buffyverse. Why some are cold-blooded evil and others are basically still themselves. And my theory is that your personality when you become a vampire gets heightened. Whoever you are is heightened. So Liam was a guy who liked to enjoy the pleasures of life, let's just say. That's who he was. And so when he would drink a lot, he would whore around a lot, he liked the pleasures of life. He would also get into bar fights a lot. That was who he was. So when he became Angelus, he became more of that. And killing became pleasurable. Spike was a romantic, a love-struck romantic. And when he became a vampire, he became more of a romantic. And all of the aspects of his personality where he's ruthless and bloody and a killer were parts that, as we see, were put on him by Angelus to try to fit in, to fit in with Drusilla, who he loves friends, which was Darla and Angel, or Angelus, because Angelus is what he doesn't have soul. So he adopted those parts of his personality to fit in with Angelus. So in that sense, Angelus is his sire. Like he said, you were his Yoda. He was his mentor. Angelus didn't turn him into a vampire, but he turned him into this version of Spike. Back Spike. Let's go with Spike for a moment. William the Bloody and Spike. Giles reads in the book that he got those names because he would put railroad spikes through people's heads. When we get to more of Spike's backstory, we'll find out that maybe he did it, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But that originally comes from people talking about how bad his poetry was. That it was like being sticked through the head with a railroad spike. Just a funny aside. But that is why Spike calls Angelus his sire, because Angelus mentored him. He helped him go from this love-struck vampire to a badass. Vampires chase after Angel and Xander. Buffy shows up and her and Spike start fighting. Buffy's like, do we need weapons for this? And Spike's like, they make me feel all manly, but fine. They throw the weapons aside and they start fighting. Joyce finally realizes maybe I shouldn't leave my daughter behind, and she skips out on Giles and the rest and goes back for Buffy. The fact that she ever left to begin with is like, what is wrong with you? But whatever. Spike overpowers Buffy and is actually about to kill her when Joyce comes and hits him in the head with an axe and is like, stay away from my daughter. Spike's like, oh, women, and he runs off, and Joyce saved Buffy. Spike almost had his third Slayer under his belt. Everyone kind of gets together outside. Joyce forgives Buffy. She's not mad anymore. She's like, look, Snyder, I'm not happy that you're not doing well in school. You need to do better, but I like that you could protect yourself. And basically, she doesn't say it, but it's like, Snyder's a dick. I don't trust him. I don't believe the stuff he's saying about you anymore. And Angel and Xander have a nice little moment, and Xander's like, what would you have done if he actually bit me? And Angel's like, well, I would have known my trick didn't work. Not that I would have helped you, but I would have known. Which I just love. I like their chemistry. But let's get back to Snyder. And this is interesting. Snyder's talking to the head cop, and the cop's like, what should I tell them? And should I tell them the normal story of PCP drugs? And Slender's like, no, what? Oh, Slender's like, what's the alternative? Tell them the truth? So it's like, hold on. So there are at least some cops and Snyder know about vampires, know about what's going on. This is actually kind of foreshadowing for season 3, which is cool. Like we're kind of setting stuff up for the following season already. But it's very interesting that Snyder knows about the supernatural. Everyone's going home, safe and sound, but Willow and Cordy are still in the closet. They don't know it's over. Cordelia's praying to God out loud, asking for all these things. And Willow's just like, pray for some aspirin. And Cordelia's like, can you please set some aspirin? It's like, wait, hold on. I love that scene. It's one of my favorite scenes of the whole show. That scene always makes me laugh. Spike goes to the warehouse defeated. Drew comforts him, and he goes and offers penance to the Anointed One. The Anointed One's new right-hand man is like, penance, you should offer your life. And Spike goes, you know what? He grabs the Anointed One, throws him in a cage, lifts him up into the sun, kills the Anointed One, and basically says, we're gonna have a lot less. How did he word it? We're gonna have a lot less ceremony and a lot more fun. Basically taking over the vampire nest in Sunnydale. We have our big bads. Welcome to season 2. I love this season. I love this episode. And this is very much when, like I said, season 2 is when Buffy hits its stride. And we're 3 episodes in, and it's just, each episode is better than the last. But I hope you guys are enjoying the ride. I'm Jonathan. Give us legends.